And I'm going to just kind of set the stage here so we're all on the same page here, what to expect, and make sure we get the most out of this. Today's topic is around generating more listings from a geographical market and also from your database in a season that I think we could all agree that most of us are experiencing a shortage of listings versus how many buyers that we have to work with. And if you're anything like my brokerage, that we've been experiencing this for some time now. And so about 6 months ago, I got together with some of the best marketers and rethink different strategies to attack this, basically the shortage, this inventory shortage. And I, the old saying goes, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's what? Insanity, right? And so if you're a listing focused individual, if you're trying to find a way to generate more listings, which a lot of people are in any market anyway, then this is going to be extremely helpful for you to help generate more business, more listings, get more leverage, and stop having to run around maybe as many buyers so you can get more leverage in your business. And so basically what happened is after this mastermind session, we rolled out a really unique program called Geo Farming Secrets, and we tested it on my brokerage along with some of my clients, and we started experiencing some really fun results, some really cool results. And we tested a lot of theories. We disproved a lot of things that was just kind of the chatter out in the marketplace of what really works and what doesn't work. And my hope is to give you those insights here where you can walk away, or if I did my part, you can walk away with a step by step process on how to make this work for yourself and generate more listings. Okay, does that sound good to you? Who is in a position right where it's in your top 3 priorities to find out a way to generate more listings? Shoot me a message in the chat if it's at least, and maybe it's not number 1, but it's a top priority for you to find a way to generate more listings in your business right now because the inventory crisis. I appreciate it if you shoot me a message as I'm moving on to my next slide here. So with that said, I want to let you guys know that this is, I love it. Antonio says always, yeah, absolutely smart. Shelly says, yep, me. Jenny says, yep, definitely, for sure. So here's the deal. This is one part of training that I have called Sales and Marketing Secrets Academy. It's an entire academy that I put together specifically for agents that have already had some success, but that are looking to go to the next level. I'm proud to say I've had over 400 top performing agents go through it. It's I consider it the number 1 sales and marketing system for top performing real estate pros. And those, just so you know how I categorize that, these are agents that are doing at least 35 transactions, all the way up to some of them 400 transactions that have big teams every single year that are going through this academy. Okay, so this is one part of the academy. There's actually 7 core components to that academy, which I'll kind of cover later on. And so what I do is every month I kind of pick a different topic to talk about. Hey, Brian says hello from Chicago. Awesome. Great. Thanks for tuning in, Brian. I pick one topic to talk about that I think is relevant to what's happening in the marketplace. Okay. And that's where that this kind of comes from. So what we're going to be covering today is 3 things. Okay. 3 big pillars to generating more listings, if you will. The first thing we're going to cover is the 7 most common mistakes that agents are making right now in today's market when it comes to geographical farming. And 3 of them, which of the 7 are a little bit controversial. We're going to cover them. We're going to talk about them. I'm going to ask your opinion, and we're going to walk away with a really awesome strategy to generate more listings. And then number 2 is we're going to learn how to create a turnkey sales and marketing system to actually execute that roadmap. Because I'm sure we can all agree, we've been to seminars before where we've come out of the seminar, we've gotten some great information, we get all excited, right? But then there's not anything that's like concrete and actionable. So we don't ever take right. So if you can shoot me a chat, if you can relate, where you're like, oh, that's a good idea, but then you don't have the freaking roadmap, right? Because they just give you the surface. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to give you the exact actionable steps. Okay. So then number two, or then once we're done with number two, we have to make sure that our conversion strategies, right, are set in place, that we have a streamlined process to not only be generating exposure and generating leads, right, and be doing these things to get more listings, but we're turning them to transactions, and we're turning them into transactions as fast as possible. Okay, so that's the three big things that we're going to cover in today's training. All right, a little bit of background on how this kind of came about, and then we'll dive right in. Is I had a very short window to be successful in real estate in 2014. I actually was leaving a six-figure job. You can see a picture of my wife there back in, I'm sorry, 2000. I don't know if I said 2016 or 14, but 2014. I came home one day and I said, "Honey, I'm done. I got a couple of different opportunities. I want to go partner with some friends of mine and help a fledgling brokerage get off the ground and put some money into it and make it work." And she looked at me funny. She looks down and she goes, "Have you seen my stomach?" Okay. I don't know if you can tell in that picture, but she was 6 months pregnant at the time. And I think I, after some sleepless nights and me sleeping out on the couch a couple nights and going back and forth, she let me go, pursue my dream, so to speak. But she gave me a short window. She said, "Look, babe, we got this baby coming along. You've been really good. We got a good savings. I appreciate everything you've done, but here's the deal. If it's not going the way you think it's going to go, then I appreciate that you reconsider." And so I knew I had a very short window. So I got hyper-focused. And basically, as a result, from 2014 to now, the sales and marketing strategy that I have built and that I've gained insights from unbelievable coaches and mega agents that I've worked with, it's led me to where I am today, to the point where I've had the privilege of having my company hit the Inc. 500 list. We've made 30 million prospecting calls through 40 inside sales agents. We've tested 1 million direct voicemails, 1 million postcards around. These are rounded up figures. These are roundabout numbers. 66,000 appointments between our brokerage and my clients. I have between Florida and Rochester, we have 200 agents a part of our brokerage. We also have one of the fastest growing technology and marketing firms that doesn't only service our brokerage, but services agents all across the country. And we moved billions of dollars through the marketplace. And I can tell you, though, it didn't really start that way. At first, it was really, really rocky. And because I didn't have the right tools and I didn't have the right systems, and I was spending a lot of money and not getting a return. Who's ever spent a lot of money on lead generation and just been really frustrating experience if you spend a lot of money on lead generation like I have, and they weren't converting for whatever reason? Shoot me a chat if you've experienced that. Well, one of the ways I want to help you curve that is I want to make sure that I give you everything that I possibly can to help your journey be more steady, okay, when it comes to mastering geographical farming. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to actually give you, at the end of this webinar, as long as you stay to the end with me and you hang out with me, because it will not make any sense if you don't see this training, for me to give you these materials. But I'm going to give you all the marketing materials for video, actually 24 videos. You're going to get 24 proven postcards. You're going to get direct to voicemail messaging. You're going to get email messaging. You're going to get text messaging. You're going to get all the messaging and marketing. You're going to get infographics. You're going to get everything that you need to succeed with geographical farming, both online marketing and direct marketing. A group of you are going to have an opportunity where I'm going to give you 1,000 geographical leads to get started with. Okay. And then for one lucky winner at the end, you're going to get up to 10,000 geo leads with names, emails, and phone numbers and addresses for one person, as long as they can support that in the geographical areas. So I like to say up to 10,000 you're going to get for just hanging out with me here today and going through this. And so I mentioned that it didn't start out easy for me. when I first was trying to get a really strong sales and marketing system together. It didn't start off easy to me. I actually went, for those of you that are tuning back in and listening to me, you've heard my story, but I was approaching a decision-making time when I didn't know if I should keep going full-time with the brokerage, and I had to make a decision. And so what happened was I just decided to get away from all. My friend invited me to a business conference that Tony Robbins was holding, and it was really an enlightening experience, because one of the things I caught from that sticks with me, and that has always stuck with me. He said, look, and I felt like he was speaking to me directly because I needed it, but he goes, look, success leaves clues. And as simple as that phrase is, and maybe we've heard it before, I really want you to absorb it in a little bit of a different way. Because for me, I don't like being the person, being the guinea pig and trying to figure out how to make something work without pathway, because it just takes longer. And one of the things I loved about Tony Robbins, whether you're a supporter of him or not, he's great at taking and finding models, and whether it's his businesses or whatever, and cutting timeframes in half. And so I listened really carefully, and I took that to heart. And so I started looking for those clues, right? Like an investigator. I started hunting for those clues, okay? Like an investigator. And that's kind of where it all started, is I started literally reading every single book I could get my hands on. I started going to every seminar. I've personally made hundreds of thousands of prospecting calls. I just started just finding it to build the system. And what I can tell you is that if you plug into what I'm going to share with you, here's how your path will be with this process of geographical farming, because there are a few key insights. If you don't do them the right way, you'll get crushed with trying to generate listings. And I don't want you to lose money. I want you to make money. So this was kind of my journey. I want your journey to be as much like this as possible, where this was kind of my journey here, the lower line here, right? And so that's essentially where this is coming from, all right? And is to try to provide a clear pathway to learn from my mistakes and the mistakes of the people that have come before me. So, and also to learn from the successes. So section 1, let's dive into it. 7 most common mistakes. What are they, right? And how do we avoid them when it comes to geographical farming? Okay. So let's get into mistake number 1. Okay. Before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to Club Wealth. If you're looking for a one-on-one coaching company, they are absolutely phenomenal. Okay. They don't pay me to do this. I like to give them a shout out because they're phenomenal. So let me just dive into mistake number 1. Okay. Mistake number 1 is not truly understanding how to pick the right geographical farm. Okay. This is where it can go south fast if you don't follow a few basic principles. Now, I'm going to go to the next slide here, and I have a sheet that I'm going to provide you so you can go through this exercise after the webinar. Okay. But I'm going to go through some common mistakes. All right. So mistake number 1, you pick it because you know it. That cannot be the number 1 reason why you're picking your geographical farm, because you're familiar with it. Now, don't get me wrong, that helps. But if there's other factors that don't come into play that you're not considering, you could lose your shirt. It could not be the best farm, and you're not going to get the best bang for your buck, so to speak, right? When I send my friends, I call them my friends, my dollars out, okay? I expect 5 to come back over time. And before I send the dollars out, I want to make sure that they're going in the right target. So this sheet's going to walk you through step by step on what to consider. Some is common knowledge. Some of them are little known strategies to actually help you identify the right geographical farm. So we're going to consider the number of homes that are turning over. We're going to look at the last 12 months, okay? But we're also going to go back even further and looking to see if there's a trend happening, okay? If there's been a shift in that local market. We're also going to look at the average sale price and turnover rate. And then we're going to do a calculation here, and it's going to walk us through exactly whether we're picking the right market or not. And the nice thing is once you use this sheet, you're going to know exactly, it's going to spit out exactly where you should be focusing. And there might be a couple different markets you can focus on. Okay. And one of the things that to consider when you're going through this particular part of it that's really, really important is if you have a market that is, as an example, that has really good turnover, but then you have another market that has really great turnover, and one has a better turnover but a little bit of a lower price point, and the other one has really good turnover but a higher price point, which one do you think you should go after? Okay, out of curiosity, shoot me a chat. Which one do you think that you should go after? Again, you have one market that's a lower price point, great turnover, one that's good turnover, higher price point. Which one do you think you should go after? And this is something that might be a little bit controversial, so I want to throw it out there to see what you guys think. Mark says both. I like your answer, Mark. Yes. So if you can afford it, right? If you can make it work within your budget, go after both of them, right? Go after both of them. Now, I would say though, if you had to choose, awesome. We got somebody on Facebook. Melanie says the lower price point. Okay, so all great things. In my experience, all right, as long as the turnover is within a 15 to 20th percentile of the other market, give or take, okay, you want to go after the higher priced market as long as it's not dramatically different. Why? Yes, you got to run the math, right? Why? Here's why, okay? You want to make sure when you're putting the dollars out, you're getting the best return for the money. And if it's in a really good turnover area and that's a higher price point, and you have to do this, put out the same amount of marketing dollars to get the house to get the same return as far as closings coming back, then you want to go with a higher price point. Now, if they're dramatically different, to Melanie's point, the lower price point, if it's a dramatically higher, different turnover, you want to consider that. Okay. Another thing to consider is how much competition is in the area. So these are all the things this worksheet's going to work. This worksheet's going to walk you through is how much competition is in the marketplace. Okay. All these things are to consider. All right. So, and being familiar in the area is great, but just remember, just please don't make that the number one factor because you feel comfortable with it, because you can always learn the market. That's one of the most common mistakes, and you see agents just not picking the best market because of that. All right. So mistake number 2. And by the way, when you're walking through that spreadsheet, it'll explain in detail. There are other factors to consider, but that's them on a high level. There's another going into mistake number 2. Okay, is not having the right message. Okay, not having the right messaging. Okay, so one of the things that you see a lot in the marketplace, and you guys might get these cards in the mail, I still do too, from other agents, is you see very generic messaging. Okay, very generic messaging. And this is an example of a client that I had that came to us, and this is a sample of their old postcard. They were really frustrated with the conversion. And basically, and this was a well-known person. They actually had a radio show and was kind of famous in their local market. But their postcards just weren't converting. And so there's 3 things I want you to write down. It's called the 3S principle. Okay, so any marketing piece you're putting together, when it comes to attracting a homeowner to pick up the phone and call you, or to go to your website, or whatever your call to action is there's 3 things you have to have in every postcard to make sure it converts, or not just postcards, but in a video you're doing. Okay, when you're promoting your listings, or when you're doing emails. All right, there's 3 things. Ready? First one is you need to be showcasing your success stories. Okay, you need to showcase the success. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, on the card, you need to share with them the second S principle, which is the secret. Okay, the secret behind how you got that home, how you had the success with that home. Well, what do you mean by secrets, Isaiah? Well, the first thing that I mean is what you did to market the home. If you have a powerful marketing plan, or if you helped them stage the house, whatever you did to help get that home sold that you like to show off, that represent your values and your marketing, you talk about. And then the third thing is is the secret. So if you have something like a unique value proposition, okay, if you don't have a unique value proposition to really attract a homeowner to separate yourself from your competition, I have 11 of them I can provide you and give you. But you have to have something that's going to be unique enough from your competition so you stand out enough for them to call you, right? So my method is, and when it comes to marketing, stand up or sit down. Okay, well, that's aggressive, Isaiah. What do you mean by that? I mean that if you're not going to be bold with your marketing and do something to stand out from your competition, then don't even, in my opinion, in most cases, you're better off not wasting the money and sending it out, right? And so if you follow that simple 3S principle, which, by the way, the 24 cards I'm going to give you actually have that methodology built in so you can get samples of it and customize them to your liking. And again, it's not just about postcards, okay? The 24 videos that I'm going to give you that I've already done, I spent $10,000 to shoot done for you videos to use, and you can use them as a reference to create a drip campaign for a geographical farm. It has the psychology built in, so you'll see it kind of in there. Mistake number 3. Okay, not having a sales and marketing plan. All right. So this is a big one. What I find is that sometimes people just get excited about a niche like geographical farming or for sale by owners and expireds, and they're like, yeah, let me go out and crush it and let me go after it. And then they'll get the data all together and they'll get excited and they'll get a little bit of momentum going, and maybe they'll send out some postcards, but there's really no formal sales and marketing plan on how to make sure they're following through the right way. And so I would recommend taking the time to open up your calendar and map out the important activities that you need to do to execute that the right way. Because if you think you're going to go into a geographical farm and just shoot out an email once in a while, right, or just send out a postcard once in a while, or without having some methodology behind it, or using a multi-channel marketing approach where you actually have a calendar in place to follow through on these things, it gets very, very hard. So what we have done is we built a 12-month sales and marketing calendar to go along with your business plan. So if you say, hey, look, I want to draw out 30 listings over the next 12 to 14 months or 14 to 18 months, okay, it'll help you calculate that. It'll actually, and then what our marketing plan will do then, it'll actually spit out a recommended budget and activities that you need to do to make sure you can actually draw out those listings. Isn't that pretty cool? Right? So literally, you plug the numbers in based on what your goal is, it'll spit out a budget and a recommended list of activities every single month that you need to do to make sure that you're generating the right plan. Who thinks that's pretty cool? Would this be helpful to you guys if you guys had a set sales and marketing plan to follow with the right activities? Do you think you would do a better job executing on your geographical farm? Shoot me a chat if you think that would be helpful to you, if you guys had a tool like that. Okay, so moving on to mistake number 4. Okay, moving on to mistake number 4 is and I'm actually going to share my slides here with our live Facebook audience here that's with us too. So moving on to mistake number 4. Melanie says yes, thumbs up, awesome. So mistake number 4 is not using a multi-channel marketing approach to convert leads. Okay, well, Isaiah, what the heck are you talking about? What is multi-channel marketing? Right? What is that? Okay, so multi-channel marketing is something that I think a lot of people take for granted. So back in the old school days, there's only so many ways to get your name out there in the market and to get in front of people. When it comes to geographical farming, there was only a few different ways you could kind of get in front of people. There was door knocking, maybe sending a newsletter or postcard, right, and the phone. And those are really kind of like the primary ways. And while some of those work, it doesn't represent a true modern day technology and marketing plan that supports a multi-channel marketing approach. Okay, so what you need to do is make sure that your plan encompasses all of the marketing activities. And by the way, a lot of these are so dirt inexpensive, anybody can do it. And I would recommend doing some of the things that I'm going to share with you, even over a postcard to start out with, if your budget doesn't let you maybe go there yet. Okay. So for example, text. Okay. There's ways to use text messaging. There's ways to use direct to voicemail is another very underutilized tool. Okay. A Facebook retargeting campaign. So what do I mean? All right. Well, in your geographical farm, there's data providers, and the way you can put up an ad, right? And have it showcase the people you're trying to target, right? Video, right? Like not doing any video marketing when you're sending an email. It's all text based. Well, Isaiah, I don't know what to say in the video. That's why I don't do it. And what would I say if I did a video once a month to my geographical farm? What if I told you in the marketing materials I have a script built out every month that you can take and make your own, right? So all those things are coming with the marketing kit that you're going to get at the end of this. So the point is and there's more to prospecting. And here's the big one. Write this down. If you're not tapping in to behavioral analytics that actually can help you, okay, that can help you what I call fish upstream, then your conversion will not be where it needs to be. Or actually, it'll still be good. Your conversion will still be good, but you can hyper accelerate your conversion because there's tools with behavioral analytics out there that can actually, you can apply it to your geographical farm, and it'll help you identify what I call your most likely to moves. So you can hyper focus your marketing dollars there. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because I know behavioral analytics, there's a difference, by the way, between behavioral analytics and predictive analytics. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. That can be somewhat controversial. So yeah, making sure you're setting up all different marketing channels that will skyrocket your conversion. Why? Okay. Well, here's the deal. Let's say that you're marketing a geographic, a geographic area, and you're in a position where you want to get the most exposure, and there's somebody there that is selling. They don't know you yet. Maybe they've seen your sign or your listing, right? They are selling, but they're not familiar with you yet. Statistically, it requires 8 to 12 impressions before somebody actually takes action and choose to call you, unless they're just hot and you hit them at the right time. So the quicker you can get in front of them 8 to 12 times through multiple channels of marketing, the more likely they're going to convert, the quicker they're going to convert. And also too, you're going to impress them with how organized you are with your marketing plan. And you're going to leave a great impression to say, hey, here's the deal. As good as my marketing plan was with you, I also do the same thing to help you get your home sold too. I have a great marketing plan to help you sell your home, and it leaves a really, really great impression. So that's number 4. Number 5 is not having the right technology set up to implement it. Okay, so here's the deal. How many of you have a CRM that can do all of those things right now? Okay, everything that I went over, where you can call out of them, you can launch a Facebook ad out of them, you can launch a postcard out of them, you can launch an email with a video out of them. How many people have those tools right now all set up and ready to go so you can act on this campaign? Shoot me a chat. Okay, here's the deal. You gotta make sure that you have the right technology and that it's working in conjunction, because here's the deal. If you or your admin have to log into all these different systems, right, to go execute this campaign, that's a nightmare, right? I mean, you could literally waste 15, 20 minutes just going and hopping between tool after tool after tool, right? And every time you got to go execute against the recommended activities, right? So good. We got Antonia's got a couple things going. Direct to voice, and you get the postcards as part of that. mix. Video, that's awesome. Good. Mark. I do, but not in use correctly. It's fair, Mark. Nope. JNS is nope. But I hope soon. Okay, very fair. Good. So just put that on the priority list, because you want to make sure that you're set up the right way before you go spending all this money and also you're not able to execute on the sales and marketing plan the right way. Very, very important. And so some of the tools that I've built, I'm going to show you, actually take you underneath the hood of the tools that I've built to make this work. Okay. So mistake number 6, not using the right scripts and dialogues when you're prospecting and following up. So for example, if you're using the right technology, you're going to log in and you're going to see the people that hit your Facebook page that you generated leads off of. You're going to get some call-ins. You're going to get people that are opening up your emails, right? You're going to get the behavioral analytics is going to tell you who's hot and who you should be following up with. And here's where it goes south a lot, is we don't really have the right scripts, dialogues, and objection handlers in place and memorized. And so what happens is we've done all this work and then we're blowing deals because we're just not saying the right things. Melanie says she has a great CRM. That's awesome. That's great to hear. So that's something to really consider. Also, as part of your marketing packet, I'm going to give you my prospecting playbook, and it's got a whole section on geographical farming, because there's a lot of ways you can attack a geographical farm. So, give an example. You can do a just listed, just sold program where you just sold a listing, and now you could send out a direct to voicemail around the listing, letting people know that you have a surplus of buyers and you're wondering if they're considering selling their home. And you can hit 1,000 homes at once or 500 homes at once with one simple message. You can market and show off that listing on Facebook with an opt-in lead form. And when that all is happening, you want to just make sure you're ready to say the right things. And all of those scripts and dialogues and objection handlers are in here. Okay. And this is probably the most important one, folks. If you're going to commit to doing a niche marketing campaign, okay, commit. Have a certain amount in your budget, right, where you burn your ship. So one of the biggest struggles that happens in our industry is there's so many different things coming at us, between good things happening with closings, between problems happening with closings, between maybe what happens is maybe we had a month where we had a bunch of closings come in, but then our cash flow gets tight the next couple months, or maybe maybe we get started with an idea and then we run into a roadblock, right? And then we get marketing on YouTube, we get marketed to on YouTube, right? We go to a seminar and somebody else is promoting some cool idea. Who's ever fallen victim to this? And then you just stop. And you just stop, and maybe you give up on the strategy too soon, right? And then what happens is you see somebody maybe a year later that's tried that strategy and they're doing well with it, and you're like, dang it, why did I give up on that too soon? Or maybe like you had deals that came in later off of it, and you're like, man, I shouldn't have given up, or I shouldn't have canceled, or shouldn't have stopped it so soon. And so this is probably the most important one, is have a long-term perspective where whatever you're budgeting to make this work, okay, burn your ship with it for 12 to 14 months. Because the first 3 months, you're getting it set up. There's a little trial and error, and you should get a couple closings, 1 or 2 closings. The next set of 3 months, okay, about 6 months in, you're going to start seeing at least a break-even or ROI scenario. For a lot of my clients, they crush it a lot quicker. But just be prepared that in most markets, especially if you're not known at all in the area, it takes time to ramp it up, right? Okay, but by the time that you hit that 4 to 6 month mark, the exciting thing is that many of my clients, and also for our brokerage, what started happening is you start seeing on average about 5 to 6 strong listings a month, right? That you start seeing coming in is a very realistic expectation, and then every single year that those farms get stronger and adjustments, and that's really concludes section number 1. And what's really cool is if you can just kind of check through and make sure that you're doing everything you can to not make any of those mistakes what are the chances of succeeding with the program? Not only just getting, some return, but getting 5 to 1, 6 to 1, even 10 to 1 returns is what you can expect over time, or greater. Some people get 15 to 1 return on their dollar or greater over time with this strategy. Okay. So that's the exciting part. So use that as your checklist. Okay. So let's dive into section number 2. All right. Section number 2. You guys still with me? If you guys are learning something, having fun, and you're still alive, shoot me a chat and say, I'm alive, Isaiah. So I'm with you. All right. So let's move on to section number 2. I'm giving you everything I got right now. I'm pouring it out. I got to take a sip of water here for a second. You just bear with me. All right. So let's go on to section number 2. How to develop a turnkey sales and marketing system so you can have a lot of this on autopilot. So here's the deal. It's better to take a little bit more time to get it set up the right way. Okay. And this is what I find top producers do is they focus on systems first. So it's better to get things set up the right way, right? Don't be over analytical about it, but get it set up at least within 80th percentile of execution before you launch it. And so when you apply these things, okay, you can cut your time frames in half because you won't be making as many mistakes along the way. You'll limit the frustration, okay, that comes along with it because you've solved a lot of problems up front and a whole lot of other really important things. So here's the deal. Here's the 3 components. I want you to write this down that you got to make sure you have covered with your marketing plan. Okay. Obviously, top of the funnel, you got to have data. You got to get good leads and you got to get good phone numbers, emails, right? And you got to have good behavior analytics applied to this and using this before you start executing on the strategy because they're going to help you identify who to go after. All right. So that's the top of the funnel. And you got to have a good system between Facebook ads, prospecting, direct to voicemail, email. I'd wait on the text messages until they warm up a little bit, but a good system to take them from the top of the funnel to get in front of them, to build that brand awareness with strong call to actions to drive them down to the middle of the funnel. Okay. And then once you're there, you got to have strong follow-up systems, which is a combination of making sure that you have a automated follow-up campaign that's customized to speak to your audience. Okay. A lot of great CRMs have the sharing tool where you can share other campaigns. You could use that as a starting point and then kind of customize it. But the good thing is the 24 postcards I'm going to give you and the 24 emails I'm going to give you already have the messaging built in so you can build it right into your CRM. Okay. And then here's the deal. Make sure that there's accountability for results on the dollar. So if you're expecting your team to follow up or you're committing to following up, making sure that you're part of your daily plan is to follow up with the leads that are engaging and to stay with it, right? Stay with it, all right? Whether that be prospecting or maybe going out and meeting them or door knocking, doing a leave behind, commit to it, right? Because if you don't have all 3 of these, I'm sure we can agree. Would you guys agree? Yes or yes, that if you have all 3 of these working together, you can you're probably going to generate a lot of listings. If you have all 3 of these working together. These components, right? And you can actually see back on my white. That's how I manage all of my businesses. I have 3 businesses right now. I have the brokerage, and I have my consulting business, and then I have technology and marketing company. And when I'm looking at my sales and marketing, I break everything down in the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, and I'm constantly innovating, improving. Always. I'm thinking about it constantly, right? And so this is a simple framework. I'd recommend you print something like this out. And you keep it in front of you, or however, if you're more digital, go more digital, and be constantly making it part of your routine where once a week you're taking a step back and you're saying, hey, what's working well and what do I need to work on at each area? And what makes it, if you do this, it can be actually kind of fun. right? It can be actually kind of fun. So here's the thing. This is an example of just kind of when we bought roadmaps. These are kind of graphically appealing of something that we would build when to make sure we're executing on each area of our funnel, and we kind of use it as a checklist. Okay, I'm going to pass those along to you so you can kind of use those different things that go along. They have the 7 mistakes incorporated in with them to make sure that you don't make those mistakes, and you can actually make your sales and marketing plan more complex. But I just wanted to give you a simple framework. If you're a simple guy like me or a simple gal, I want to give you a simple framework where if you just think about it, top of the funnel activities, middle, bottom, and use that simple funnel just to analyze each part of it. Just to get started, that's all you need. Now, for my clients, they get access to that sales and marketing workbook, and it provides everything, right? Step by step, so that's very helpful. So let's get into section number 3. All right. So we talked about making sure the leads convert. How do you do that? Okay. So now you got your plan, you got your funnel, right? You got it all kind of structured out. How do you make sure you can implement a conversion strategy? You don't want to do all this work and not get the conversion you want, right? So this is something that I built in 2014 when I was frustrated and I was getting concerned that I might have to go back to my job. I liked my job, but I liked being an entrepreneur better, and I didn't want to have to go back. So oftentimes I'd be prospecting and I would do my marketing and I would be sending emails out, right? I'd be doing the activities I needed to, and what would happen was I didn't have any way to improve because at that time I was just getting started. I didn't have a coach that I could afford at that time. I was putting everything into my marketing, and I needed a kind of a system that I could check in on. And so I created 2 really important things that I think will be helpful to you. Okay, I created a really powerful, which by the way, more of my clients say this one document has made them more money than anything else that I teach. When they execute it. But I created a daily sales and marketing document that I use as a checklist. And I would just wake up in the morning. I would look at all my responsibilities and I'd plan my day around this daily sales and marketing checklist. And what happens was it made me extremely consistent, right? And you guys know this, right? The key to success in anything is consistency. You can't go to the freaking gym 3 times and then stop and then think you're going to be successful at losing weight or getting in shape, right? So there's tools that anything you're trying to accomplish, there's tools that you need. I don't care how motivated you are, okay? You still need tools to help yourself stay focused. And that's what this simple document did for me, is it helped me stay focused. And I developed a performance tracker and a spreadsheet, and I just went down through. And there was times I didn't fill it out and times that I did, but it kept me on track. And what happened is I started getting more consistent. We started crushing it. And we started going, just getting listing after listing, and it was really exciting. And we started having fun with it, and it kept things simple too. So, be happy to pass it along as well for you to check out. And this actually helped me with the lead conversion part of it. It may be a little hard to read on here. This is a slide I added last minute, but there's really 7 steps to taking a lead to turning it into an appointment and then closing the deal. There's really 7 steps, and these 7 steps are largely taken for granted. We're all aware of them, but people take them for granted. Okay, so those 7 steps are building rapport and qualifying. Okay, building value, creating urgency to do something sooner than later based on their pain and motivation, getting built-in yes responses and trial closes. Okay, overcoming your objections, having strategies and the right things to say to overcome the most common objections you're going to get when you're out on your listing appointments, right? And then 6 is great, scoring yourself on how good your follow-up is and how good you are when you do get a listing at generating referrals and testimonials and tracking your metrics. And then number 7 is time management. How good are you with your time management? Going back to this slide, right? And then just overall tracking your results, right? Or I'm sorry, just overall keeping your energy high, right? And keeping positive throughout this process and experience. And then just having simple action steps you can take. And for me, I used one of these sheets for a period of time. I used one of these sheets after every one of my prospecting, meaningful prospecting calls where I had a meaningful conversation. And I used this score sheet after every presentation that I did. And it honed in my craft so quickly. Within 3 months, I felt unstoppable. Like I just felt like no matter what was said to me, I had every objection. I knew exactly what was coming, and I just was able to hone in my craft so much quicker with a simple sheet. So I want to share that with you. It was really, really helpful to me going through that. So I know that I went really fast, and I covered a lot of ground and a lot of information. You may feel like this right now. You just got hosed, right? You got all these insights. You got a lot of information. You're like, okay, this is exciting, but this is a lot, right? And because that's how I felt, when I was learning it. I'm like, wow, there's a lot here. And that funny image it's true in reality, right? I want to make sure you can take action on this. And so I'm going to share with you how to actually get access to my Sales and Marketing Academy. And there's two different options, two really attractive things for you. I offer a unique service through my Sales and Marketing Growth Academy that actually will do it with you, okay? So we'll actually help you build out, and it's not just for a geographical farm, by the way. It's actually to help you convert on your database as well. We actually teach that as a core principle, all right? And how to draw more listings from your database, from your sphere, using different strategies, as well as going after a geographical farm. And we're actually, it's a quasi hybrid between done with you and for you structure, where you have an awesome experience through a set of 7 master classes, all the ebooks, okay, and a sales and marketing specialist that we assign to you, okay? So as you're going through the online learning, okay, we're actually going to assign a sales and marketing specialist to you, okay, that's going to consolidate all of your data, okay, that's going to pull in the geographical data and get it uploaded and clean for you, that's going to actually go out and find and apply behavioral lead scoring and analytics, okay? Set up all of your marketing materials for you, okay? And walk you through a series of 3 workshops on a step-by-step on making this actually happen, okay? And then offering a follow-up weekly group coaching where we're talking about a different topic along the lines of lead conversion and different things along those lines, all right? You're also going to get to free tickets when COVID is over. I travel. I do about 30 speaking events across the country in different markets. You're going to get free tickets to that, okay, to come to those if I happen to be in your local market. And you're going to also get all the custom videos and postcards that we talked about, the infographics, everything you need. So essentially, going back to this, okay. JNS says, "Oh baby," I love it. Walk for your entire business, okay? It's business building system. There's nothing out there like it on the market right now. Trust me, I tried to find it before I built it. So the structure that I put in place between the technology and marketing, it cost me like $1 million to build it out. But that's how convicted I was that people needed it, right? And so think about how much you could cut your time frames in half by not having to do it on your own, right? To get all this structured and figured out on your own and have somebody do it with you and for you, right? How powerful that would be, right? So here's the deal. Because I only have so many marketing specialists available, I have to go on application only. Okay, so I have to do it based on who we think is the best fit and just to make sure kind of our ideals aligned, and also to make sure it's a good fit for you, right? And so it is application only. And so you're going to see an offer go up here where you can actually schedule a demo. All right. So I would encourage you, if you're interested, because out of all the people on this webinar right now, usually we sell out within the first 24 to 48 hours on our spots and positions where that are available with that we have currently available with our marketing specialists. We sell out. Okay. And so just to give you guys an idea, while and I'm going to publish here. So right-hand side of your screen, I got a 15-minute countdown here. I'm going to go for another 15 minutes or so, get into some Q&As, help you understand a little bit more about what to expect here as we go through this. I mentioned to you that there's 7 key strategies here. Okay. So part of what we're going to do is cover strategies 1, 2, 3, and 4 in your first 90 days. So we're going to go over setting up your turnkey sales and marketing plan. We're going to make sure your database is lit on fire in a positive way, that you're drawing more business out of your database. We're going to make sure that you have the right amount of leads coming in, that you have your geo data set up, that you're utilizing Facebook. We lost audio. Okay. Clara, did my audio come back by chance yet? Did my audio come back? Did my audio come back? Yes or no? Not good. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me? All right, so for those of you that are live on Facebook, okay, Clara's going to post a link live on Facebook. And what I'm going to do is, so you can get access to that, I'm going to sign off of Facebook. Okay, we're back. Never mind, I don't have to sign off. Okay, beautiful. All right, awesome. So, so we're going to cover basically in the first 90 days, we're going to go through section 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and make sure it's all set up for you. So you can dominate your niche. We're going to make sure all your digital marketing, your assets, your lead generation is all set up. We're going to make sure you're maximizing your profits in your database. Okay. And we're going to make sure you got your plan all mapped out. That's kind of like the first 90 days. And then from there, what you can expect after the first 90 days is we start taking a deeper dive into mastering prospecting and conversion. I have over 40 different listing presentations for you to pick and choose from. We have ongoing training every week that will go over. And right now, actually, we're actually on section 5 in my weekly training. That's what we're covering right now, how to smart prospect. Okay, there's dumb prospecting and there's smart prospecting. Trust me, I've made over 100,000 calls. Who do we put as the booking agent? You can put me, Jenny, as the booking agent when you're setting up the demo. Okay, you can put my name in there. All right. When you're setting up that demo. Okay. So, so we're going to go through that, and we're going to go over like the finer art of time management and scaling. And so here's the thing, between having 200 agents, I'm the head of growth for our brokerage. I'm also the head of growth for our technology and marketing company. And I also have my coaching consulting company. So if there's anything that knows about the finer art of profitability and time management, I've had to learn that kind of the hard way. I'm going to share my secrets with you on how to squeeze the most out of the day, still have fun, and still have a life. Okay? And then we dive into what I call maximizing profits. And that's kind of the last part of the plan is cycle over the course of the 12 months that we go through, is really fine-tuning your entire business to squeeze that juice out of the orange, so to speak. Okay? All that's part of the plan and part of what you're going to get. Okay? I'm just looking at the calendar. If you're interested at all, get in a demo right now. We've already had 7 people sign up, actually register for a demo right now. Okay? And I'm going to confirm with how many people we're able to take on, but I believe we're only going to be able to take on 4 or 5 people with our marketing specialist. Mark said lost connection. I have full signal on my end, so I'm going to just keep going unless Clara tells me to stop. So I'm going to just keep going here. All right. So here's the thing. I want you to feel confident. We have the best support and customer service guarantee that's out there. Okay, we have the best support and service guarantee out there. Okay, customer service is a huge part of your sales and marketing plan, folks. I'm going to teach you how to put customer service as a priority and use it to land more deals too. It should be a priority, but I'm going to use it to help you land more deals. So what we do for you is have a customer service support guarantee. We're going to reach out to you monthly, either through text, email, or phone call. You're going to have your done-for-you workshops. You're going to have your online weekly training. You're going to be able to set up an on-demand, okay, on-demand weekly training and coaching session. On demand, you're going to be able to set